In this exercise, we are going to draw all these elements in After Effects and we will create this animation. I'll go to After Effects, New Composition. I'm gonna set the duration to 10 seconds. And first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna draw the sky using this tool right here, the rectangle tool. I can click here, fill options, choose solid color. Okay, I click on the color and I'm gonna look for a light blue like this for the sky, and then I'm gonna click and drag and create a rectangle like this, bigger than the composition. This is going to be the sky. I'm gonna toggle this up. I'm gonna draw the ground now using the same tool, the rectangle tool. Now I'm gonna deselect, I click away, and I'm going to create another shape, same shape, rectangle shape. I'm gonna change the color, choose this shade of green. Okay, and now I'm gonna draw another rectangle for the ground. Click and drag like this. Deselect. I click here. It's very important to deselect every time. I'm gonna start drawing the trees now. I'm gonna draw a small rectangle like this. And we can change the color after, that's not a problem. We have shape 3 still selected. I click, I go to red somewhere here, and then I'm gonna choose a dark shade like this. I'm looking for the brown. This is a good shade of brown. I click on OK. We can draw several rectangles every time like this. Deselect, draw, deselect, draw, or we can select this shape and duplicate it several times. Control D. Now this is a copy. I go to selection tool. I take it right here. I can press shift to stay on the same line. Now Control D again, duplicate, put this one right here. I'm gonna select the 3 of them. Control D, duplicate, and I'm gonna put these 3 right here. Now we have 6. I'm gonna draw the upper part of the trees. Back to rectangle tool. I'm gonna choose a dark green like this, and of course make sure you deselect. You can go to edit and deselect all, or click away here. I'm gonna click and drag like this. I create a rectangle. If I press shift, I get a perfect square like this. If I press space without letting go of the mouse, press space, now I can move the square wherever I want. I'm gonna put it right here and I let go of the mouse. Now we get this square. I'm going to here, rectangle 1, I toggle this down. Rectangle path, I toggle this down, and here we have roundness. I'm gonna increase this and make the square with round edges. I'm gonna set this at 50 or maybe 60. I think this looks good. And now I'm gonna move to the next. For the next, I want a circle shape. To get that, I'm gonna click and maintain, and then access the ellipse tool right here. And now I'm gonna deselect, shape layer 9, and I'm gonna draw a circle like this. I can press shift to get a perfect circle, and with space I can move it. Gonna place it right here. I let go like this, and now we get this circle. Shape layer 10. I'm gonna duplicate it, Control D, and I'm gonna move this circle right here. I'm gonna toggle this down, content, toggle this down, ellipse. Here we have ellipse path. I'm gonna right click here and click on convert to Bezier path. This is very important, like this. Now that I converted, I can go to pen tool and I can modify this shape however I want by moving these points like this, and I can also click on a point and move the handles like this and modify the shape. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna click away, press L to toggle everything up, everything deselected. I'm gonna go to the next shape. I'm gonna click and maintain. I'm gonna choose polygon tool. Now I click and drag, I get this shape. Without letting go of the mouse, I can go up and down with the arrows, and by doing that I can increase or decrease the number of the faces on the polygon. I'm gonna go down to 3 like this, get a triangle. If I want to avoid any kind of rotation, I can press shift, and now the triangle stays like this. I'm gonna leave it like this. Go to selection tool, I'm gonna move it, and I'm gonna make it a little bit longer like this. I'm gonna move to the next. This one I'm gonna draw it. Move this a little bit here, and I'm gonna draw the upper part of this tree. I deselect everything. I go to pen tool, and I'm gonna draw using the pen tool. I click here, click here, click, 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 and by doing clicks I'm drawing lines. And I go back to the first one and click, and now we get this shape with this fill color. I can move the points like this and change the shape I just drew. I can do that, made of all straight lines. And now I'm gonna move to the next, the last tree. I'm gonna deselect everything, edit, deselect all, and I'm gonna draw this one. Now I'm gonna start from here. I zoom in a little bit. I'm not gonna click, I'm gonna click and drag, and just like that create a curve. As you see, I'm gonna go here and click and drag, and I create a curve. Click and drag like this, click and drag like this, click and drag like this. I take it up, I let go, I go here, click and drag up, and you see how the shape is determined by the handles. When I move, the shape changes. I let go of the mouse, I go here, click and drag up, and now I'm gonna close. I go back to the first point and click, and now we have this shape. Of course, afterwards we can always modify it. We can move points like this, click on a point and move the handles like this until we're satisfied. I'm gonna go back to selection tool. I'm gonna select this shape layer 11, and I'm gonna apply a gradient to this shape. I'm gonna change this from fill. I click here, fill options. I'm gonna change it from solid color to radial gradient. I click radial gradient. Okay, and you see what we get. We have 2 points, this one and this one. We can move them. This is the center, as you see. I'm gonna put this here and this in the center, and if I click here, I can determine the colors. I click on this color, selected. Now I can make it red. Now I click on this color and I can make it blue like this, and I can move this small point, and you see how the tree is changing like this. And we can also add new color by clicking here. I can make this green and I can make this pink, and we get this result. That's not what I'm gonna do. Cancel. I go back. For the color in the center, I chose a very light green, and for the color on the edges, I chose a dark green. You can find a darker shade right here. Click on OK. Now I'm gonna apply a gradient to this part now, but a different type of gradient. This selected, I click on fill. I'm gonna change this from solid color to linear gradient. OK. And now we have this linear gradient. I'm gonna move this point right here and this point right here. I want a light color on top and a dark color in the bottom. Of course, I can click here and change the colors however I want. I can move this color midpoint, and you see what's happening. I'm gonna keep it in the middle like this and click on OK. Now we are done with the trees. I'm gonna deselect everything, press L to toggle everything up. I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna go down with the mouse, press Shift and click here. I selected all the shape layers except for the sky, except for the first one right here. And now all these are selected. I'm gonna pre-compose, right click, pre-compose. I'm gonna name this pre-composition trees. I click on OK, and now we have this pre-composition. I can double click and find all the shape layers inside. Back to comp 1. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna draw the sun. Click and drag. I'm gonna choose ellipse tool. Fill, I'm gonna choose solid color. Okay, I'm gonna choose yellow like this. Okay, I'm gonna press Shift and draw a small circle like this, a very small circle like this. I'm gonna move it right here. Shape is still selected. I'm gonna draw a star inside the same shape layer. It's very important that this stays selected. And now I can draw a star like this. And you see inside we have ellipse and we have polystar. Control Z to go back. If I want a star on its own, I have to deselect first and draw a star like this. Now we have shape layer here and another shape layer here. Control Z to go back. Make sure this is selected. I'm gonna go in the middle here. Click and drag like this. And I'm gonna draw a star like this, as you see. I'm gonna open polystar here, the options of the star right here, polystar path, and here we have points 5 points. I'm gonna increase this to 15, like this. This is what I want. Inner radius. I can increase this, and you see what's happening. I'm gonna decrease it, keep it like this. And outer radius, I can increase it, and now the hands of the star are getting longer, as you see. I'm gonna keep it at 150. Let's try 100. I think this looks good. Now I'm gonna animate this outer radius. I'm gonna put the playhead at 1 second. Click on the stopwatch. After 2 seconds and a half, about here, I'm gonna increase this a lot, up to, let's say, 250. I'm gonna type 250. We have a new keyframe here, and now if I play, you see how the hands of the star are getting longer. This is exactly the effect I wanted. I'm gonna go to 6 seconds after 2.5 seconds, and I'm gonna select this keyframe, Control C, Control V, and I copied and I pasted the same value right here. I created a new keyframe right here. The hands get longer and then they get shorter. I'm gonna also rotate the sun. I'm gonna press J to go back to the previous keyframe. Right here, the playhead. I'm gonna click on the stopwatch of the rotation. Now here we have 0, 0. I'm gonna press K and K one more time to go to this keyframe. The playhead is right here, and I'm gonna make the sun rotate 1 time. I press 1, press enter. Now let's see what we get. We get the sun rotating. I think this looks good. We have the sun rotating. Now I'm gonna animate the sun. I put the playhead right here. I'm gonna toggle this up. I go to transform. I go to position, or simply I can press L to toggle everything up and then press P, bring the position. Go to selection tool. I click on the shape layer. I press P to bring the position. I click on the position. I move the sun right here. I'm gonna click on the stopwatch. After 2.5 seconds, I'm gonna place the sun right here. And at 6 seconds, right here, I'm gonna place the sun right here. Now let's see the animation. I think this looks good. I can modify the motion path if I want to, like this. Let's play now. I need to put this down a little bit. Put this down a little bit. The problem here is that the anchor point is too low. I'm gonna try to put the anchor point in the middle of the sun. I go to anchor point tool, I press Control and I double click, and just like that, the anchor point is exactly in the middle. This is a good trick. Let's play the animation now. I'm gonna modify the motion path. I'm gonna put this up, and this a little bit down. Let's play now. I think this looks good. Now I'm gonna put the layer of the sun under the tree like this. Now let's play. I think this looks good. And the last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make the sky turn dark. I put the playhead at 6 seconds. I go to the layer of the sky. I'm gonna toggle this down. Content, toggle this down. Rectangle, toggle this down. I go to fill 1. Here we have the color. Playhead at 6 seconds. I'm gonna click on the stopwatch. I'm gonna move by 3 seconds. I click on the color and I'm gonna choose a dark shade of blue. I'm gonna choose this blue and this shade of blue. And now if I play, we see the sky going from light to dark. We have this keyframe and this keyframe of the color. And now I'm gonna play the entire animation. The exercise now is finished. You go do the same and don't forget to save.